the system is like, it's a goofy system. It's a popularity contest to see who controls the nukes.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Who controls the nukes? I just feel like lefties and righties don't like him.
You're right.
Both people don't like him.
But there's no choices other than him on the left, and the people on the left are only going to vote on the left, and that's it. Unless some Mamdani guy comes out of left field and
Is that
says,
the New York guy?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Zohran Mamdani has quickly become one of those New York politicians who walks into the room acting like he just uncovered human suffering no one else ever noticed. He speaks about renters, baristas, and subway commuters with the dramatic tone of a man narrating a Sundance documentary about the hero who discovered inequality in 2025. But here's the hook. Mandani talks like he's revealing hidden truths, when all he's doing is repackaging problems every New Yorker already knows by heart. And somehow, he still manages to present himself as the city's lone visionary.
But the point that you're making is right, which is that we have to have a housing policy for all 8.5 million people. And that's why you couple a rent freeze with construction of 200,000 truly affordable homes.
Every speech he gives carries the energy of someone who genuinely believes I read theory instead of paying rent counts as a personality trait. Ironically, rent policy is his entire political identity. But here's where it gets wild. He's convinced thousands of people that passionately describing a crisis is the same thing as actually solving it. The louder he gets, the more people mistake emotion for expertise.
Thinking about affordability more with the median household income in New York City, which is $70,000 for a family of four.
I love it.
So you have to increase that, and you have to make it easier for the private sector to also build.
Mandani's rise isn't mysterious once you understand the ecosystem he thrives in. In that world, details don't matter, vibes do. Just cycle through words like solidarity, oppression, and abolish, and suddenly you're treated like a wise elder of the revolution. Mandani figured out early that emotional certainty beats practical competence. He built a career on Tumblr-style rhetoric disguised as public policy, delivered with the intensity of someone who just discovered the word bourgeoisie. He chose landlords as his main villain, which is basically the political equivalent of choosing gravity as your antagonist.
And that's why you have to take this as an opportunity to also tackle the costs that landlords are facing. Because when I speak to landlords,
Talk to me about that. That's interesting.
I hear that the insurance of affordable housing units has doubled in the last few years.
Hating landlords isn't a brave stance. It's one of America's most popular hobbies. Nobody hears landlords bad and falls out of their chair in shock. But Mandani presents it like he's unearthed the secret scrolls of economic justice. Every time he dramatically whispers, rent control, he looks around the room like he expects a standing ovation. It's performance politics, not policymaking.
The thing is, maybe what he wants to do is going to coincide with AI and automation, which is going to be, you're going to have someone who has at least some sort of, not like pure socialism, but at the very least universal basic income, like the ideas that they want to implement. Because if you don't, you're going to have chaos. You're going to have, all jobs are going to, essentially, most jobs are on the chopping block.
I get what Mandani thinks he's doing, but let's be honest. Wrapping old-school socialist fantasies in shiny tech future language doesn't make them any less reckless. Yes, automation is coming. Yes, the economy will shift. But the solution isn't handing the national checkbook to progressive ideologues who think universal basic income is a magical force field against collapse. What Mandani calls forward thinking is just government dependency disguised as compassionate innovation. Instead of empowering workers, builders, and small businesses, his approach sidelines them under a one-size-fits-all safety blanket that smothers incentives and detonates budgets.
You have a property tax system that's broken in New York City, one that effectively penalizes rental apartments and the owners of those rental apartments. And if you had a system that incentivized the construction of rental apartments, you could have a very different landscape of housing. So to me, it's freeze the rent and take on the cost of insurance and fix a broken property tax system and streamline development and have the city produce 200,000 homes.
And that's the core of his entire worldview. He talks like a guy who discovered Economics 101 an hour ago and skimmed the supply and demand chapter during lunch. Rent freezes? Revolutionary. Punitive taxes on the wealthy? Groundbreaking. Massive expansions of city-funded programs without explaining the bill? Visionary. To him, budgets aren't mathematical constraints. They're capitalist oppression. He treats basic fiscal reality like it insulted his family. Everything becomes a moral crisis. Every inconvenience is framed as structural injustice. Every proposal sounds like a hunger strike declaration because his train ran late in 2013. But dramatic intensity doesn't fix subway tracks, repair buildings, or balance city books.
What was his policy? What did he run on?
He ran at everything. Rent control, stabilized rent. He's going to tax the rich people way more than before. Businesses are going to run out of that place like
Crumble.
it's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Cheers to
maybe-
Manhattan.
This is where the socialism versus capitalism tension becomes impossible to ignore. Mandani advocates for systems that historically collapse under their own weight. Command economies, centrally managed everything, state-controlled markets, while dismissing those failures as irrelevant footnotes. Capitalism, despite its flaws, lifted billions out of poverty, built infrastructure, and funded the technology progressives use to complain about capitalism. But Mandani and his circle treat those facts like inconvenient trivia. His rhetoric is designed for social media clips, not city budgets. His supporters aren't drawn to results. They're drawn to aesthetics. Radical-sounding statements are more important than ideas that actually survive contact with reality. Then came the Israel Pledge moment, where every other mayoral hopeful followed tradition and vowed to visit Israel if elected. Mandani refused. His excuse? He was focused on New York. Some called it bold. Others recognized it as strategic controversy avoidance wrapped in activist language. And his supporters defended him with their usual selective logic activism when convenient, silence when not.
Yeah.
That's the goal, because we're building 4 homes per 1,000 people. Jersey City's at 7.
Yeah.
Tokyo's at
Mandani's entire movement is built on contradictions. They applaud tax hikes on the wealthy, but panic when asked what happens when the wealthy leave. They demand higher wages while supporting regulations that crush the small businesses providing those wages. They want more housing, but oppose developments because the shadows look depressing. To them, math is oppressive, logic is capitalist, and practicality is bourgeois. Mandani fits perfectly because he's a politician powered by vibes, not numbers. His vision imagines a socialist wonderland where everything is perfectly fair, perfectly funded, and perfectly managed. A fantasy undone every single time it's been attempted. Meanwhile, the same people demanding the downfall of capitalism do so while sipping Starbucks, typing on MacBooks, wearing Nike, and posting their revolution on platforms owned by billionaires. Mandani can deliver powerful speeches, organize massive rallies, and generate trending sound bites. But none of that proves he can run a city. Real governance requires negotiation, trade-offs, and math, not slogans. To progressives, he's a visionary. To people who need the subway fixed, trash picked up, and businesses kept alive, he's a red flag. In a political landscape overflowing with contradictions, Mandani might be the purest example. And in a political world that sometimes resembles a comedy sketch, he might be the most unintentionally hilarious character on the stage.